Learning music production today can feel straight up overwhelming. Which DAW to choose? What tutorials do you watch? How do you make a song that doesn't sound like 1980s robot music? Look, if I had to start over knowing what I know now, here's exactly how I would learn music production and do it fast. I'm going to break this down into 6 steps that have not only worked for me, but the 800 plus students I've mentored here at Cosmic Academy. If you follow them and you're willing to put in the work, you will level up way faster than I ever did. So to be honest with you, when I first started producing, I fell into the trap. It was like 2010, and I really believed that it was just like, open up a bunch of synths, put as many plugins on as you can, and that's how I'm gonna sound like Skrillex. But like most people, I was going into this without the right mindset. And it's similar to trying to build a house without a blueprint. So let me give you 4 mindset shifts that will accelerate your learning. All right, so tell me if you've ever experienced this. You watch a tutorial and it makes complete sense. Fully understand it. But then you go into the DAW and you try it in your own song. What the hell? It's not working. Why does mine sound like shit? This is completely normal. And the reason why is your brain sitting there watching the tutorial, you'll understand it in 2 seconds. But it's more than that when we're making music. You need your ears to also learn that exact same concept, tool, or technique. And the only way they're gonna learn it, truthfully, is by practice, time, and repetition. So the first mindset shift here is going to be patience. The quicker you can understand there are no shortcuts with music production, I think the easier it is to enjoy the bumpy ride and just be patient. All of this does get better. All right, so the second shift is going to be put emotion first and technicalities and plugins second. I had really believed that if I got amazing at sound design, that was gonna make me a better producer. And I went down this path for like a couple years, but then it hit me. Songs are more than sound design. And if you think about your job creating songs, you're basically a storyteller. You're not just a sound designer or a beat maker. If your music doesn't make people feel something, the technicalities really don't matter. So this is a perfect segue into our next one, which is, although we are producers, think like a listener. You're making these songs that are going to be heard in specific environments. This could be a long drive in the car, it could be a nightclub or festival. But in those moments, do you think the person sitting there consuming your music is listening and appreciating the multi-band compression that you did on the mid-range? No, it's, do they have an emotional connection to this song? Does this transition feel right? Does the melody feel right? Is the rhythm and groove in the drums right? So it's important to just remember, they're not going to be impressed by how you made the song. That's just you. The fourth and final mindset shift is going to be visualize your why. It's going to be hard to stick around with music production if you don't have a solid reason behind why you're doing it. So like I started off making music that I wanted to be able to share and enjoy with other people. Then it turned into I wanted to play festivals and bigger shows. Then it turned into I want to help share this information with y'all and the students at Cosmic. Your reasons will evolve, and they should evolve. But I think it's important to have them and know what you're aiming for. So then moving on to step 2 in our process, let's get into the tools that we are going to need to be using. In the beginning, every beginner hits this wall. Which DAW should I use? Which plugin should I buy? Here's the honest truth. It really doesn't matter. They all work and they're all going to do the job for you. What's most important is though you pick one and stick with it. Now in today's landscape, I do think there's an advantage to Ableton because majority of tutorials and producers are working in it. But if you're someone who's on a tighter budget or want to go in a different direction, there are so many quality DAWs out there that you could choose from. Once you do pick your DAW of choice, it's important to learn it like an instrument. Don't jump around, because really you need to learn the software first before you could ever make music in the software. And to learn your DAW fast, it's probably never been easier with YouTube and the many courses that are available. Making music's a little bit more difficult, but learning the DAW and the software is pretty easy, where in a couple weeks you can make some great strides. So when it comes to plugins, there's a lot of ways I could address this. There's a really funny quote, a fool with a tool is still a fool. And it's so true. When you're a beginner, there are no plugins you can buy that you would even understand enough to benefit from what they offer. So as much as we don't want to hear this as new producers, the truth is, learn how to drive and you could drive any car. Really understand your stock core tools, EQ, compression, synth, spatial effects. Because yes, there are a lot of third-party options out there that can do crazy things that are super helpful. When you're a beginner, you're not going to understand that value because you don't have an understanding of the core concepts first. Now we get to the fun part. Before you start diving into thousands of different serum presets or going down the kick rabbit hole on Splice, here are the core pillars I wish I would have started with. First up, songwriting. We are making songs, so if you didn't play an instrument growing up, which many producers today haven't, and that's okay, I do think it's important to supplement some of your time learning things like how to write a song in a certain key and scale, how to build chords within that key and scale. If you don't understand just the basics of music theory, it's going to be very hard to write and create songs. Next up is arrangement, and this is really where most beginners fall flat. It's very easy to create a 15-second idea that's great, but getting that idea to stay fresh over 3-4 minutes, that's difficult. Benefit from other songs that you already like. Think about the songs you listen to more than once in a given day and study them. What are they doing to bring you back over and over again? Where are they using things like tension and release? Where are they giving you a lot of energy and taking it away? You could always drag these songs into the DAW and learn from them and try and structure your song ideas in a similar fashion. This does get easier with time, but in the beginning, I would really lean on other songs you're familiar with. The third core concept you want to focus on is going to be sound selection. As time goes on, you start to realize this. Great producers don't fix bad sounds. They just start with great ones. They understand what a great sample or synth sound might be. So here's a couple tips I have for you. When selecting synth sounds, try and go in opposite directions. If you always layer sounds that have similar characteristics, which might be my fingers here, they're going to mask each other, cover each other, block each other. But if you choose sounds that have different characteristics, think maybe frequency, stereo space, is it loud, is it quiet, is it wet, is it dry, different tonal characteristics. These differences allow the sounds to come together with less masking, less problems. Now in choosing drums, Splice does have a ton of great samples, and I'm not someone who's against using drum loops. I actually encourage every beginner to use drum loops because odds are you don't know the amount of drum layers needed for your genre. You probably are unfamiliar with the patterns, rhythms, and grooves as well, so loops can teach you a lot. Don't be afraid to use them early on. They will only help you with programming down the road. So then the fourth concept is going to be mixing basics, and I'm going to stress basics, which is not a bad thing. I think being advanced means you're really good at the basics. So volume over everything first. Volume is the most powerful tool you have. If you want something to be in focus, make it louder. If you have less important sounds, make them quieter. After that, you can learn things like EQ, compression, your spatial mixing, putting sounds in different parts of the stereo field, but really think of them as secondary tools. Getting your volume levels appropriate first makes it easier to then decide what to do with an EQ, compressor, or spatial mix. This final concept is one I avoided for the longest time. I don't know why. I hated automation. And automation is something that is so important to your music because this is what creates change over time. This is really what brings emotion into very robotic sounds and performances. So think about using automation on filters, volume, reverbs, delays. It's an easy way to create tension and release and also keep your listener engaged from start to finish. Moving on to the fourth step, I went through a 2-year stretch early on where I did not finish a song. And if we think about the version of producer I became, it's like if I went to the gym every day and just did bicep curls over and over and over and over again. I would have the biggest biceps in the gym. But y'all know what SpongeBob legs look like? Those 2 little pencils? That's what my legs would be. But they should be because I'm only developing one muscle, my biceps. I was this version of a producer. Instead of showing up to the gym and doing a full body workout, which would be finishing music, I always resorted to what I was comfortable with and good at. The one part of my game that was developed, making drops, drop after drop after drop. So I had a bunch of 15-second, 8-bar loops on a hard drive, but I sucked at everything else. I got in the habit and routine of working in 8-bar loops rather than getting in the habit and routine of writing full songs and finishing songs. By finishing a song, you are getting better at all of the little things that go into it. And just like a workout, You're not going to be equally as strong in all these areas, but that's why we show up and do it over and over and over again. Step 5 really might be the most important one on this list, and I want to emphasize working with others. Music production can get very lonely. Think about it. You're sitting in a dark room by yourself making music all day. And when you get started, you really have no idea what's in front of you. But I want to stress, finding other like-minded people is really, really important. So here are a couple ways you can find that. So the first way would be to join a program or community. And this could be a shameless plug to join Cosmic, but there are so many out there. You don't have to join ours. I think look around, find one that fits you. But a lot of these communities and programs can offer you real feedback, mentorship, and accountability. The second way would be to find a mentor, someone that is years ahead of you that can show you the direct way. Like, this is what we do with our students, where I'm sitting in a one-on-one, you're sharing your screen, and I am literally helping you fix your specific problems, the things you're unaware of. Again, it doesn't have to be me, but find that person. It's a cheat code to improve. The third way is going to be to link up with other people and collaborate. This could be singer-songwriters, other producers, but you will learn so much from sitting down with other people and seeing how they do things. There's no one way to do this, and I think exposing yourself to other creatives like yourself breeds a ton of momentum. The fourth and final way is to become part of the scene. Go to live events, go to shows, connect with local DJs and artists and support them. Reach out on social media, but get out from behind the DAW and start making real connections with people. And if you're not that person, you're introverted, here's the one plus, so are they. We all are, I feel like. So don't be shy on that side. Realize you're probably just gonna end up talking to someone who's very similar to you. Moving on to step 6, this is going to be about making yourself more valuable as an artist. So here are a couple ways you can do this. First up is build a personal artist brand. Now I understand this is way easier said than done. This is something Justin's working one-on-one with the Cosmic students to help them develop this, and it's never ending. But in a way, it's never been easier to reach a worldwide audience because of the social media platforms. Make music, document it, put it out there, connect with other people. You as a viewer on these platforms, you follow other people's journey. There are going to be people that are down to follow yours as well. The second way you can make yourself more valuable is to learn other complementary skills outside of the DAW. Think about content creation or using video editing softwares, finding ways to use AI to be able to create content and put it out there. But the more you can do here, the more opportunities will open up for you. The third and final thing I want to mention is be a professional, even when you're getting started. I think it's really important to carry yourself a certain way. Be reliable, be easy to work with, hit your deadlines, support other people. It is going to be about the music, but there's so many other deciding factors on if someone wants to work with you. And one of the easiest things you can control is your attitude, how you approach this. Okay, so we've laid out this basic framework on how to accelerate our growth, but we're still missing something really, really important, and that is the step-by-step moves you're going to need to make. So tap the video on screen, and we're going to shift gears a little here, and we're going to get way more detailed with our approach. I'll meet you in the next one.